Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is TamezTech and welcome to a new video. Today we are checking out Shadow CHARJABUG in the Summer Cup, and as you can tell by the title, we actually got leaderboard elo with this team, believe it or not. We actually played kind of sloppily, wasn't really playing to my win conditions very much. We had a really fun stream yesterday, but regardless of that, we were able to pull out, I believe, a 19-6 win streak for the day, so that's pretty decent. At the moment of recording this video, my elo of 2331 at the end of these sets was rank 247 in the world, right below its accent, ironically, right above Mormon Matt. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. This is going to be quite a long video. I believe it's about 30 minutes long worth of battles. So go ahead and sit tight, grab a drink, maybe a snack, and let's check out these battles, okay? So right into the battles here. Like you can see, I have a really bad Shadow CHARJABUG, but it actually put in a lot of work, and it's putting in a lot of work in this lead against Gyarados. I believe 3 volt switches are enough to knock out a Gyarados here. I make a little bit of a misplay here. I bank a move and then I swap into Cradily. But honestly, the volt switches we put into this Furret pretty much put them into Rock Tomb plus Acid Down range. The Furret can throw a Swift if they want, but yeah, this should just be a Swift. It's debuffed. It's not going to knock out. If anything, we give less farm to whatever comes in and we get a move on. So yeah, we could throw this Rock Tomb against the Gyarados. Pretty decent stuff here. They get minimal farm, so we can bring back in CHARJABUG, and they bring in a Cradily. They are down shields, and we are up energy. So we can definitely just go for both X Scissors here. And then we can bring Diggersby. I believe 1 Scorching should be able to knock out from this range, regardless of the debuff or not. We just never shield here. We don't have to. They bait. GG's. And that's all she wrote. Calling that bait there doesn't really like change the outcome of the game very much. My CHARJABUG is still the win con. Gyarados is still gonna have to throw a Aqua Tail against its Diggersby if it wants to knock it out. So it doesn't really change much here. We do shield just to get this Fire Punch off, and look at the health on this Gyarados. That is 1 volt switch range. That is about 30% of this Gyarados HP, and it's gone. We sneak the volt switch. They throw 2 Dragon Breath smartly to get their move off, but it's not enough. Trickily in the next match, Dartrix. We have a lot of neutral play against this Pokemon, but they do have more damaging moves than we do. Like I said in the last video, this Pokemon is kind of noob jump bluff, right? I'm bringing in my Cradily here. Cradily is not a super safe swap in this meta, so you'll notice that regardless of me being a debuffing Pokemon, I usually don't shield the first move on the safe swap. Unless it's a very, very positive matchup that they're not switching out of for some reason, I usually don't swap out because, I mean, I don't shield the first one because, as you can see, Cradily can still put in a decent amount of work regardless of what they throw. We know this is just a Seed Bomb, so we no shield. I don't know why my opponent threw that. They did have an Azumarill on the back, so good catch by them. I actually do have a discharge here, and I will get another discharge after another volt switch, but I don't realize that. So I accidentally bank a discharge and dip into Diggersby like a dumbass. But you'll see that regardless of me dragging out this battle immensely for no particular reason, we will still be able to take the win here in just a way more complicated manner. The opponent CMP ties us here with a Seed Bomb, so we will tank that comfortably. They need another Seed Bomb to ever be close to knocking us out. Fire Punch knocks out. Azumarill can knock us out with an Ice Beam, but we have the Discharge Bank. And I guess my opponent thought they had a chance there because maybe they thought we didn't have a Discharge Bank, but we did, so I don't know, man. Not my best play there, but we take the win still. Okay, CHARJABUG Mirror. I throw right away because I'm pretty confident I might win CMP just because my IVs aren't great. But having 0 attack is a little bit of a toss-up, right? So my opponent smartly overfarms. They don't want to play to the CMP tie, and they catch on Azumarill again. I don't understand why people are catching on Azumarill so much. We bring in Cradily, but as you can see, I kind of took a little too long to bring in Cradily there. Which means that my opponent is going to be able to outpace to the second Ice Beam here. I actually throw on Alignment here, because I thought this grass knot would knock out, but it doesn't, and we don't get the farm down. So really big misplays by me here. Thankfully we can come in with CHARJABUG, just get another energy lead. They bring in Swampert, so we just throw this right away, and this game is looking a little bit tricky, right? We have a Diggersby onto a Swampert. We need to land 2 Scorchings against this Pokemon, because of course they still have a shield. So I'm gonna shield these Hydro Cannons since they are the most damaging moves left in the game. Gonna throw the Scorching Sands here, and I'm gonna predict that as soon as my opponent lands a Hydro Cannon, they're gonna want to combo play with their own CHARJABUG. So let's see if this works out for us, and it does. So we catch the X Scissor here. We should be able to severely overfarm against this CHARJABUG. Okay, and we have the back-to-back Fire Punches here. So 1 Fire Punch should knock out here, and we should be able to get to a Scorching Sands against that Swampert, and that's a GG. We actually take that game with the Swampert in the back. Pretty good catch there. Oh, and the Azumarill had 1 HP, so GG's there as well. On to the next game. We have a pretty tricky lead here. Honestly, Morpeko, if it starts ramping up, it could be a big problem for my team. But my opponent lands the Aura Wheel and dips. Really weird play by them. Of course, they do catch on a Talonflame, which that's really cool. I would have liked to throw the discharge there, but now I can align this Talon onto my Cradily, and I mean, this is perfect for me. This Talonflame is a really problematic Pokemon for both of my other Pokemon, so getting rid of it here is totally fine. We land the debuff first, so we can tank this Brave Bird and see, do I want to take both shields here or not? I think I'm just going to take the farm on Diggersby since they are super debuffed now, and they bring in an Empoleon. This is really decent to be up shields and up energy against. We bring in CHARJABUG, and they smartly throw right away. I want to land this Volt Switch damage, right? So if Talonflame comes in, we can just throw the discharge right away since 1 Incinerate would knock out. And if they want to shield here, then Trainer, you can be my guest. I just really need to shield this Talonflame since the only move Morpeko is going to get to is a resisted Aura Wheel. We can cap tie all you want. This is totally fine by me. They actually Psychic Fangs there, but once again, I don't really think it's going to do much for them. They have to be 2 off of a Brave Bird to even have a chance, but they're only 2 off of a Fly, and they don't have the HP to get there. So GG's to my opponent there. Very valiant effort for sure. On to the next lead. You might think this is a positive lead, but it's actually like not even that great. They bring in Kingdra, and since it is a Shadow Kingdra, I will shield the first. Lo and behold, of course, this is the one Shadow Kingdra in the entire planet with Octasuka Swift as their coverage moves. So at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I can just farm this thing all the way down. I don't care if they Octasuka, if they Swift. I really don't care. I guess I will throw a little bit of energy here, but I'm going to fully undercharge, right? I want this thing to get me a lot lower. They actually throw a move here, and yeah, this is just a Swift, so I'm going to let them do more and more damage to me. Make sure I'm at 1 Bullet Punch worth of energy. And they have a Shadow Palkia in the back. That is an insane pick. You can see, though, these Volt Switches are chunking, dude. I believe 5 Volt Switches should be enough to knock this Pokemon out. But we are just going to throw the X Scissor after 1 here because we should probably get outpaced to the next Aquatail. And now that they just have Scizor, we do have Diggersby in the back. We can force a shield when the X Scissor here, which honestly was a terrible play. But I was pretty distracted since we got a raid from Rise to Occasion yesterday. But we should be able to outpace to the Fire Punch here and just knock out the Scizor there. GG's to my opponent. Against Bonnie 85 in the next match. Not a great lead. We got a Cradily lead. This is on Bullet Seed though, so it's a little better for us. They actually throw an alignment there. Predictably, the Cradilies just throw right away, and we sneak an entire Volt Switch worth of energy. We are able to throw on good timing here, and I think I'm just going to throw these back to back here, see if they want to shield or not, and bring my Cradily in so I don't have to shield again. I don't want to go down both shields before my opponent does, so I'm going to bring in my own Cradily. We're going to take a lot of damage from this thing. Just because Bullet Seed does outpace Acid to the first, so we will take a second Rock Tomb here, but I'm going to severely overfarm here, make sure I'm really close to another Rock Tomb, just to have some damage ready for whatever comes in. They bring in Talonflame, so all those debuffs they got, they really don't do much for them because they still have to shield. I pivot into my CHARJABUG, and they insta-swap into a Jellicent. and I don't know. I just think this is a good game for my opponent. One Volt Switch should be enough to knock out here, so I'm going to shield my Charjabug. And I make a little bit of a misplay here. I should have thrown a Volt Switch and then my Discharge. I really don't know why I just threw the Discharge right away. Pretty stupid of me, not gonna lie. But my opponent is forced to throw energy here, or we'll land another Discharge. They really want to see the third Pokemon, so we're gonna go ahead and show it to them. And that's a GG. Pretty sloppy gameplay by me, but still, it's been really fun battles. Okay, Lurantis, we actually wall this Pokemon. This one is running Leafage, Leaf Blade Superpower. I believe Fury Cutter is still the better move. They actually make an amazing catch onto Torkoal. But we have a decent answer to this with Cradily. I will shield the first just so there's no chance that they can get switch advantage back. I really don't want that Lurantis on my Diggersby, of course. So we're gonna get switch here. Lurantis can come in and throw a superpower, but that's never really gonna knock out. They throw it on the Captai, which is pretty smart. But again, this is not going to really knock out. They do have Leafage, so no super effective Fury Cutter against us. And they swap that onto a Raikou. So Raikou does have access to Aura Sphere here, and this damage is ridiculous. Check this out. Boom. That is nuts, dude. That is a 40 energy move that does about 60% damage to a Diggersby. That is pretty crazy. We are able to overfarm severely here, though. Of course, we shield one Aura Sphere. A Fire Punch comes really close to knockout, and now we have almost 2 Fire Punches for this Lurantis. So it's looking like a really tough game for my opponent to win. I'm kind of just going for fast move here. I know that they're good counters, and they're going to try to cap time me, so I just bring in Cradily, I farm all the way down, and that's a good game for my opponent there. Zimmy Kid in the next match. Okay, we're fighting celebrities today. Once again, decent lead here, but Zimmy's actually pretty smart, and he's playing it out because he knows that if I want to win switch here, I have to shield, right? So I'm going to shield the first. I'm going to throw my Exeter right away, just so it's less likely that they'll catch. And now I'm down to go for some fast move damage. They actually bring in a Gastro, and here's another funny, hilarious play I can make. So I kind of miscount the switch timer. My opponent does throw a Body Slam here, which is totally fine by me. I'm going to farm up to the back-to-back Grass Knots, and at this point, my clock is up, so theirs could be up too. I predict that they're going to catch on Scizor, and they don't. So we throw a Resisted Rock Tomb to Gastrodon for no reason, instead of just taking the knockout. Now this Gastrodon is not going to get knocked out by this. They bring in Scizor, they force my shield, but after that Volt Switch lands, I believe I can farm this all the way down with my Diggersby, so it does give us a little bit of setup. They have a Poliwrath in the back. This is really bad. This Pokemon is a problem. We're not going to be able to get to a second Scorching Stance because Zimmy is going to count perfectly and throw his energy right before we get to our Scorching. So my only win con is farming down this Poliwrath, and we get there. We needed to have a move for this Gastrodon since they had a Body Slam, and that's a GG, dude. Let's freaking go. Okay, Tricky lead in the next match, but we have 2 really good answers for this Pokemon, so I'm always swapping in Cradily here. They bring in Goodra. They bring in Kingdra, Shadow Kingdra, and we're able to land the first Rock Tomb. So at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm pretty sure they're always going to full send here. So I'm just going to shield the Outrage, the guaranteed Outrage. And even if they get to another one, I know that I had to shield at least one. They actually only get to a Swift now. So we are really healthy here. And they bring in a Gyarados. We outpace to the double Rock Tomb, which, I mean, this is just going to fully one-shot, right? So we're going to debuff this Pokemon. No matter what we come in with, they're going to have to swap out. They can get this farm down, but they're double debuffed, so we actually get to a third Rock Tomb if they don't throw. Life is being really complicated for this Gyarados, and look at that Volt Switch, dude. That thing did like 40% damage. I predict they're going to insta-swap as soon as they see that Volt Switch land, and they do. We bring in the Diggersby, and this is pretty much a good game for my opponent here. We'll see that we actually get the debuff here, which I guess this was the heartbreaking moment for my opponent since they fully undercharged that Mud Bomb. I believe the game was over quite a while ago, but GG's to my opponent there. Okay, good lead in the next match. Poliwrath lead. I love this lead. They actually swap in their Charjabug, and dude, I am loving this even more. Diggersby is going to put in a lot of work into this Charjabug, and we can severely overfarm out of this matchup to have some energy for the backline, which is going to be that Poliwrath, of course. So we do need 2 Fire Punches to knock out here, but we can still take 2 X Scissors. So I'm going to take both of these X Scissors before I throw my energy. And then just throw, I believe, 3 more quick attacks in the move. 1, 2, 3. Go a little bit over 100 energy there, but it doesn't really matter. We still only take 1 move into this Poliwrath, and we only give them 2 counters of energy, so it's not too crazy. They're almost at half HP. We bring in Charjabug, and surprisingly, they're staying in. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to throw my energy right away. I know I win Cap Tie. If this Poliwrath wants to land a move against me, he's going to have to shield. Give me some of your resources, buddy. All right, now they Icy Wind. They still get knocked out, and look at that. ABA Water. They had literally no answer to Charjabug in this team. Your own Charjabug down energy cannot be a Charjabug answer. So at this point, my opponent plays to the Cap Tie. They win it, but I mean, I have a shield, so that's a GG right there. Charjabug is taking names left and right. On to the next match here. Let's see what we got for the lead. Fortress. Okay, I was really scared of this lead, but my opponent insta swaps? Okay, I'll totally take that. At this point, I was thinking maybe it was a Volt Switch Fortress, right? And that's why they wouldn't want to go against an electric type like Charjabug. But you'll see in the rest of this match that it's actually Bug Bite. So I don't know, maybe at this point I'm thinking maybe this is like an ABB line, you know, they're double ground or something like that. So it might be an electric type in the back. So I can let this Diggersby take switch. I really mostly need shield advantage to deal with that Fortress, and I'm gonna take this farm down with my own Diggersby. So if Fortress wants to come in here, be my guest, buddy, but I am up a lot of energy, and I'm gonna get that second shield before you can even land 1 move. Whatever move they land though, they don't really even farm up to the Earthquake, as you'll see here. They throw right before my Fire Punch, and yeah, this is just a Sand Tomb, dude. I do not have to respect this at all. They make an amazing catch on Gastro, which is honestly a problematic Pokemon, but once again, we have a 2 shield advantage. Charjabug paces pretty quick to these X Scissors, especially with a Volt Switch advantage, so unfortunately, it is a GG for my opponent here. I don't even have to shield this obvious Body Slam bait. I just really need the shields for my Diggersby to land a Fire Punch into that Fortress, and I think my opponent knows that. Even with this farm down that they're getting, I mean, they just can't really get to 3 moves, let alone 3 moves that would knock out into this Diggersby. So I can just shield everything up. There's no reason to risk not shielding the first when they're going to be debuffing with Sand Tomb. So yeah, we take that game. Pretty good stuff. All right, on to the next battle. We got Venusaur lead. This is not great. I'm gonna strategically tank a Sludge here, right? Look at how much damage this thing does. Holy crap, that is my entire health bar. But they pivot into a Dedenne, and this kind of gives us an opening. I feel like people usually see a no shield and they get a little like freaked out that their Venusaur is really useful. And with them swapping out, they kind of give it less use because they give me more room for me to, you know, make a play. I undercharge that play rough there because I want to have more energy than I have health into this Venusaur. My opponent makes an amazing peekaboo play. They catch a Fire Punch onto Blastoise. Once again, I've been really distracted these sets, but we're still taking names. We always shield the first, and it's Ice Beam, so I think I'm just going to double shield here. Because if I let an Ice Beam land, we're in big trouble, and a Frenzy Plant isn't really going to knock out Cradily anyways. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I'm shielding this other super effective Ice Beam, and it is. Venusaur comes in, we're able to debuff Venusaur right away. And like I said, after this debuff, we should be able to get to another Rock Tomb before this Frenzy knocks out. So I'm going to let them do more damage with Vine Whips, make sure I'm in 1 rollout range. But at this point, my switch clock is up, so I can swap out if I have to. I did want to get farmed down there, though, because I didn't want to get 1 turn lag or 1 turn switch in and get knocked out with my Charjabug. So that was just the safest way to play that game. On to the next match here, we have an atrocious lead, but once again, we have double hard answers to this Pokemon in the back, and they bring in Araquanid. So this is a little bit of a tricky Pokemon. It's extremely tanky. 2 Rock Tombs should still be enough to knock out though. And whatever they throw here, I mean, I don't really desperately need switch advantage, right? I feel like Iroquois is probably a more problematic Pokemon than Ufisk would be for me. So getting rid of this is a lot better for me. They actually bring in Cradily, which I will totally take. This thing completely walls my Diggersby. So if I can have this aligned against my Charjabug, especially now that it's debuffed and we can actually survive a Rock Tomb, I'll totally take that every day of the week. We will have to shield the second Rock Tomb, but as soon as they pivot into Ufisk, we're going to be able to pivot into our own Diggersby. They make an amazing catch there, predicting the tremendous overfarm I did. But just having that X-Scissor banked in the back, it's pretty much a good game. Honestly, that chip damage with the X-Scissor is pretty decent too, because that means that they are pretty much in Scorching Sands plus farm down range here. So they do shield all my moves, but once again, this is a Ufisk, so it's not really going to do any damage onto us. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, if they catch on Cradily, be my guest, dude. This Scorching is still going to knock out. It is neutral damage. So if we can get rid of that Cradily now and still have an X-Scissor banked for this Ufisk, it's pretty much a good game. I just have to take the last shield here. Honestly, I was considering sniping here, but I don't even have to do that. I can keep staying in with Diggersby no matter what. These quick attacks are only guaranteeing it being an X-Scissor range. And if they want to knock me out here, then that's totally fine by me. I still have a shield. I still resist Thundershock. I can overfarm tremendously here for absolutely no reason, just because I'm a piece of crap. And now we can finally throw the X-Scissor and we can take that game. So pretty long extended game there, but that is why this video is about 30 minutes long today. On to the next battle here. It's taking quite a while to start, but here we go against Rope Blaster. And we got an amazing lead with the Asumaro lead. They swap in Morpeko and Trainer. Electric types are not a safe swap in this meta, man. There's Cradily everywhere. There's Diggersby everywhere. There's Gastrodon everywhere. I don't know. This is not a safe swap. My opponent smartly capitalized us on the aura wheel. I guess that was a miscount by me. We are able to throw this Scorching, and I want to undercharge to get a farm down, but my opponent actually shields. So it looks like they're going to try and save their Morpeko. So I just keep overfarming. They bring in a Talonflame. I have my Cradily, and this is pretty much a good game, right? I always just shield the first here to guarantee that I can get rid of this Talonflame since it's the last problematic Pokemon for my team. But yeah, they have shields down. We have a bunch of energy on Diggersby. We have a decent amount of energy on Charjabug. Even this Brave Bird is not going to do the trick for them. We can do 4 in the move just to guarantee the knockout and the least amount of farm down for whatever comes in. We allow this farm down, which is a little bit scary, but now they're in Fire Punch range. So yeah, this Fire Punch should just knock out. It looks like my opponent kind of waited a little bit there to make sure to see what came in. But they waited too long and I was able to throw my move before they swapped out. Tricky lead in the next game. We have Trevenant. We have neutral damage into this Pokemon, but they catch on a Kanto Ninetales. This is terrible for us. I'm going to bring in Cradily. I'm going to have to shield the first because if it is an overheat, they can force swap. And lo and behold, it's just a Weather Ball bait. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to throw right away. If I can keep some health on this Cradily, I should be able to get to a move against that Trevenant. And they have a Charizard in the back. So, dude, Cradily, I don't understand why everyone swaps their fire types into Cradily, but I will totally take that. Since it is Dragon Breath Zard, I'm going to bring in my Charjabug here. I'm going to correctly shield the Blast Burn. And hopefully I can survive this to get an X-Scissor off, but no. Shadow Ball is just a little too much for Charjabug to handle. Maybe the non-Shadow would have taken that. I make a little bit of a misplay here in bringing Cradily, but this should only be a Seed Bomb, right? Okay, so we survived that. We're able to force the shield here. That Charizard is practically at a Scorching Sands range, so I really just never throw energy against this Trevenant here. They have to throw energy if they want to burn the clock since they're so debuffed already. So this Scorching Sands should almost pick up the knockout. 2 more quick attacks take it, and now we should just be able to Fire Punch this Trevenant. They still need 2 Seed Bombs to knock out. They have no fast move pressure, so we should be able to take this game. We actually make a cheeky catch there at the end for no reason again, but yeah, GG's to my opponent there. I just like dancing around when I'm on stream. On to the next battle here. We get Zapdos lead. Extremely based pick by my opponent here. But you'll see, this is kind of a one-sided matchup. We do have to shield these Drill Pecks. They are neutral and they would chunk. But these Volt Switches, man, oh my god. people just keep catching my moves on CHARJABUG, but I don't believe you're supposed to catch an Exeter on Cradily. Maybe that's just me. My opponent might have thought that we were going to discharge there. And I ridiculously think that I'm able to survive this Rock Tomb. So we're all making stupid plays. But that's totally fine. We still have Diggersby for that Zapdos no matter what. So I'm just going to bring in my own Cradily here and try to get a farm down here. Maybe I can throw Rock Tomb before theirs. And let's see what they want to do. Okay, they bring in Zapdos, so I'm going to pivot into Diggersby and see what I can do. I believe these Hydro Cannons are the more damaging moves left in the game. So I should have shielded the first in chance that we got a Scorching Sands debuff. But we don't, so the outcome of the game doesn't really change much here. But I do realize I have to save my Diggersby here. I have a little bit of energy on my Cradily. I don't quite have the Rock Tomb yet, but this Scorching should be coming really close to knockout. It actually does. We force the shield with the Fire Punch because we overfarm severely against that Blastoise. And now we swap in Cradily. Drill Peck shouldn't knock out us, barely. It doesn't, so we're able to get to the Rock Tomb, take that win. A little bit of a tricky game for sure, but Zapdos, an extremely fun Pokemon to see. And on to the next match, we're going to lead into Budget Zapdos. Emolga on the lead. This one is actually a little more problematic than Zapdos. As you can see, Emolga is a lot tankier than Zapdos, which is kind of a crazy statement, but it is true. They still shield the X-Scissors though. So we're going to shield the Acrobatics since this move would probably knock us out. They catch a Discharge on Swampert. Oh my god, can people stop catching my Charjabug moves? Thankfully, every single time my opponent has been catching in all of these battles, they have been putting themselves in a really bad position. You know, they do catch resisted moves or good moves, but I just have a hard answer to what they bring. And now that they don't have switch advantage, it's kind of a toss-up if they're going to win this game or not, right? They bring in Ferrothorn here, which is definitely a tricky Pokemon for my team, but they're never going to be able to Bullet Seed us down, you know, so I'm just going to keep throwing Rock Tomb after Rock Tomb. My opponent makes a cheeky play here, and they undercharge Power Whip to get a farm down, but again, trainer, Charjabug walls this energy, so I can just bring in Charjabug here, probably farm this Emolga all the way down. Oh, they actually discharge bait, so we do have to swap out here. They will land an Acro into this Diggersby, but I kind of just need energy on this Diggersby to force a shield from that Ferrothorn. One single Power Whip will not knock out here, which I bet is what my opponent wanted, but I am able to throw the Fire Punch here. And yeah, that should just be a GG. Forcing this shield here, having the X's are in the back. We should be able to take this game pretty comfortably. But GG's to my opponent. They're a very valiant effort with the undercharges and all. On to what I believe is the last battle of the day. We got another Poliwrath lead. I love to see this. This Pokemon is extremely bad for my backline, so getting rid of it here is definitely the play. I actually discharge here because, I mean, why not? Hopefully they don't catch, but at this point I'm pretty I'm pretty numb to them catching on me. They bring in Talonflame. Unfortunately, we do take that Incinerate. Probably should have thrown the discharge there, but we were debuffed, so they could have no shielded that regardless. We will shield the Brave Bird, and we'll throw 4 in the moves. See if my opponent wants to shield here or not. They do, which is a little weird. But this move shouldn't knock out regardless of what it is since they're debuffed. So cool. We're able to get rid of this Talonflame. We wait the turn there, make sure Talon is still in and they're not catching on Poliwrath. Because of course a Rock Tomb wouldn't do much against them. And they have a Dartrix in the back. Again, tricky Pokemon to see back there. We should be able to still take this game. The quick attacks plus Fire Punch should be enough. We survived 2 Seed Bombs pretty comfortably here. So I'm going to overfarm here, make sure I have energy for that Poliwrath if it ever comes in. We have the back-to-back Fire Punches here. That Poliwrath should not be able to farm us down before the Scorching Sands. And we're able to take that final game of the day. Once again, Charjabug just putting in so much work against these teams. And as you can see here, 2331 is our ELO reveal. Once again, rank 247 in the world. So I can't believe it. I actually got like decent leaderboard ELO with this team, but I guess I'll take it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those battles. Let's go ahead and head to the question of the day, see what we got for you guys. All right, so a little bit of a funny question today. I haven't been getting a lot of answers to my questions. So if you guys have any questions that you want to see in this video, I will actually screenshot your question and post it at the end of the video. So you'll see your name in here and everything. So yeah, feel free to shoot your questions down below, shoot at them on Twitter or come by on Instagram, wherever you guys want to show up. Like I've said before, I have all my socials up there, so be sure to follow me all on there. We got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and I stream on Twitch every single day. I always stream my battles on there, so make sure to come by and say hi. But without anything else to say, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit longer, but sometimes people like longer battles, so let's see how this goes. You guys take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.